All right. Nelly, Arnaud, it's so good to see you both. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, mate.
Good to be here with you as well, for sure, as always.
Yes, it's wonderful. So this is the Famille de Boel France virtual visit with Nelly France and Arnaud de Boel. Such a charming, wonderful couple that are very close to my heart. And so the idea today is to talk about the estate, talk about where you are, talk about the wines, your philosophy. And then if you watching want to taste any of these wines, please reach out to me. I want to get bottles in your hands and see if this works for your shop, for your restaurant, anything, because these wines are stunning. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to show some maps so we can kind of talk about where you are located in the Northern Rhone, but then also in the Southern Rhone, because we have several Southern Rhone wines where those vines are located. So let me share my screen. And this is a general map of France. Here's the Rhone Valley down in the kind of southeast corner, and then the Northern Rhone. So where are you located here?
So we're located Northern Rhone, just in front of the Hermitage. So you have the Rhone that crosses Northern Rhone with Saint-Joseph on one side. On the other side, you have the Hermitage. So we're south of Saint-Joseph area.
Perfect. And our house so right around this area.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Because your house where you are, you also have vineyards of Syrah right next to you, which is all Collines Rhodaniennes for the Les Voraces. So
Les Voraces,
cool.
Yeah.
So located right here, you do Saint-Joseph. You are starting a new. You have a Cornas this year.
Yes.
So very excited. And then on the south side, where are here's the Southern Rhone. Where are your vineyards located in the south?
So we're like northeast of Orange, close to Rasteau.
Close to Rasteau, so right around this zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. We can kind of talk about those grapes when we get there. But this is from your house view when I visited. So some of the new young vines. This is their view looking down into the canyon below their house. It's just breathtaking. Oh, and then there's a family. So first of all, let's talk about your history. How did you start De Boel France? Because it's a young winery.
Yeah, we just actually we used to work for in the wine industry since let's say
15 years.
15 years, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And in 2016 we decided that maybe we should grow grapes for ourselves, and so we started to search for lands and places to plant and blocks that we could run. So that's how we started really. But because in the north of the Rhone Valley, it's super hard to have access to the lands and to the vineyards, because the appellations are quite famous and prestigious, let's say.
There's not much space, in fact. Northern Rhone, you have the Rhone Valley, the Rhone River, and then you go steep on slopes, and then you're out of the appellations.
And then you're out.
So the area to grow grapes in appellation is quite limited.
Gotcha.
And so we started to plant in these appellations, but if we wanted to live to live with our work and not simply it to be a hobby, or something we do on the side, we needed some old vines. So that's why we decided to go a little bit further south.
I see.
And where we found some land, because the access to the land and the vineyard is a lot easier over there.
In the south, yeah.
There is old vines as well that we could buy, whereas here, eventually we managed to find a little bit of land, but it's always bare land, so we have to plant. So when you think about planting, you think about time, the time that it takes, and the patience that we need to have to do that as well. So we thought, okay, we want to start now. We have to find old vines, so that's how we ended up in Ucho, in the Ucho area in the south.
That's because you're in the Massif de Chaux. Is that zone right next to Rasteau?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it was very important for us. Okay, we go south, but we go where we want to go too. It was not just an opportunity to buy vines, just vines. We wanted good vines, so it was. We had to search for a bit, but we achieved.
You found it.
Yeah. We found that area in particular. We originally looked in this area because we wanted cooler climate or sort of more acidity in that area, and tasting lots of wines from different villages around the Cotes-du-Rhone south area. We realized that between Uchaud and Sainte-Cécile, Suze-la-Rousse, Sainte-Cécile and Uchaud, it was you had natural acidities. It was something that was coming back all the time. So that's why we looked specifically in that area.
That makes sense. What is the elevation there in the Duchaux?
In 2/3 of the vineyards, we're on the flat area, like in old southern Côte-du-Rhône. But in Uchaud, we're probably sort of 200 meters high, which is not that high, but you know, we're above the sea level.
Yeah.
And we're on slight slopes. It's not the slopes from northern Rhône, Saint-Joseph, you know, steep like that.
Very steep.
So it's gentle slopes, but still in Uchaud we get that altitude and more acidity. Yeah.
Cool. And what is the soil like in those vineyards?
So in these vineyards, where we have different, depending on the different wines that we have, but if you are on the IGP, like Le Gras et la Vie, what is there? Assiégés, Jasus, Lalandii in white. So these are all more like sand, and we have a little bit of stone, but it's not like the big,
not the big galette,
the big Châteauneuf, you know, galets roulés. Yeah, because these we don't want to have these because you know they're super warm and they keep the heat and give it back in the night. But you know, with the climate moving, it's certainly not something we want to have, like hot all the time.
Right.
50 years ago, it was super.
Really great. Yeah.
It was a super soil because you could reach like 13 or 14% alcohol. But nowadays, it's something we try to avoid the heat. We go higher, so.
And specifically when you know our style of wine is more towards freshness.
Yeah.
And the other soils are in Uchaud. You have chalk, so the sort of chalk, rocks of chalk, and flint in the depth.
So you have the Uchaud. Is it all near the same place though? So you have those vines and on the flats. Yeah. They're not far from each other.
No. It makes sort of a triangle, and it's sort of 10 minutes each from each other.
Oh, okay.
So it's really it's really good in general.
And then in the north, I snagged a bottle of Saint-Joseph from my personal cellar because we're sold out of the Saint-Joseph until actually
the new one.
Very soon. This fall we will have the new Saint-Joseph. But so where in Saint-Joseph do you have vines? And then in the Collines Rhodaniennes for the Les Voraces, that's right by your house. So what are these soils like, and what is the climate like in comparison?
So in the Saint-Joseph, we're like, so Collines Rhodaniennes, Les Voraces, we're around our house on granite.
On granite.
And because we're south of Saint-Joseph, basically, to make it simple, it's granite, and it's always granite.
Cool. Okay.
When you go northern Rhone, you have silt, no? Slate?
Slate. Yeah.
Slate. Northern Saint-Joseph, but we don't have these. We're southern, so we have granite. So it's more or less granite, more or less old, so more or less degraded or not, but it's granite. So you have always that sort of framed mid-palates, and it's wines that need, because of that granite, it's wines that need a bit of air, you know, to sort of open up and sort of show their fruit, you know.
Right.
It's the particularity of granite. And then on the Saint-Joseph, same, we're still in southern Saint-Joseph, so still on granite, on slopes.
On slopes. And your new Cornas that we'll see this fall, also granite soil?
Also, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We're
Arnaud
on the same
France.
side. We're on the same side of the Rhone and very close area. It's just a little bit warmer, let's say. So us, we are super happy to have our cornas in altitude as well, a little bit higher. So for our cornas, it's at 400 meters.
Oh, okay. Much
which
higher.
Is quite, yeah. So let's say usually we have 2 degrees in temperature less than in the flat part of Cornas in the bottom of the village.
Oh, really? Really interesting. Oh, is that
Really the corners.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. Ooh, that's cool. And so for the Cornas, how big is, like, in general, your whole property, how many hectares do you farm? And in each little area, how big are we talking?
We have, for the moment, we have, in Cornas, we just have like 3,050.
Half a hectare.
Half a hectare, let's say. Even less than that. Less than that.
Like this 2019, we produced 1 barrel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it.
And then between Les Voraces, so in Collines Rhodaniennes, and the Saint-Joseph as well, we have some new Saint-Joseph. You'll come and see this.
Okay.
This wonderful new plot. And this is all in total. This is like 2 hectare-ish.
Okay. Okay.
For now, and we'll have 3 more to plant.
Let's see. Yeah.
And then we have 3 more to plant, little by little.
In the south.
Yeah. So that's in the north.
Yeah, well, in the
2
north.
now planted, 3 more to plant.
Okay.
In total, there'll be 5 hectares in the northern Rhone.
Cool.
And then we have 9 hectares in the south.
In the south. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
All planted now.
So, tell me about your farming philosophy, because I mean, every bit of your philosophy and your idea of this winery, I think, is so beautiful and wonderful. But, you know, especially in the farm and how you farm and how you want your grapes to grow, what is your philosophy there?
We work in biodynamic, and we grow our grapes organically and in biodynamic ways, let's say. So we add absolutely nothing. We just use plants in the vineyard, let's say, apart from the usual organic stuff, let's say.
Okay.
But in the cellar,
Plants, like we do infusions of achille, of valerian, of different plants like that helps our vines to
help everything grow in the vines. Cool.
Exactly, and specifically our vines to become self-sufficient and not need us anymore. Or
the conventional way of growing, of farming, of growing is when your plant needs something, you give it. If it needs magnesium, let's say, you give the plant magnesium.
Right.
The idea of biodynamic is just you help the plant to find the magnesium by itself.
I like,
you know what I mean?
The way you...
Because it's there. It's like, if you want a plant to grow, you give it nitrogen, a lot of nitrogen, but
right.
Almost 80% of the air is nitrogen. So you just help your plant to take it. That's it.
Right. Just, give it what it needs to just encourage the natural environment.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it. Perfect.
And then in the winery, we just don't add anything.
Don't add anything. All
a
natural.
bit of sulfur.
A little bit of sulfur.
Okay.
That's it. We work with natural yeast, and that's it. That's basically all we add in our wines.
And that's why we wanted to find land that have acidity naturally, because we're not going to acidify the wine afterwards. So
totally,
it has to be there originally.
Has to be there. And with biodynamics, you don't add sulfites during the whole process until just like a week before bottling, right?
No, we added a little bit in the beginning, and a little bit, just a little bit in the beginning and a little bit in the end, let's say.
Perfect, cool.
And you have limits for everything that we do, whether it's in the vineyard or at the winery. You have limits authorized in biodynamic, but our aim is not to go up to that limit. It's to do, as minimum as possible. But
Cool.
It's not a limit that we go, okay, we can go up to that and we go up to that. So it's really, we measure everything that we do. You know, our aim is not to get up there.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's awesome. And because I teased earlier with this very, very cute picture. So tell me, you have two amazing children. So she's getting bigger now, but who is this?
This is Margot.
This is Margot.
So Margot, well, yeah, this was last winter. This was last winter, and we were like doing, you know, some. And this is Augustin on the left.
Oh, this is Augustin. Yeah.
No, this is Margot, and up on the picture before, yeah, there. That's
This-
Augustin. He was super small.
He's so tiny there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very small. So these are times where we, you know, bring the children in the vineyard for, well, it's biodynamic preparations that we're.
This one right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
And yeah, this is our vine in Southern Rhone.
in the Southern Rhone. Okay. Oh, great.
Yeah. So this goes in Assiégés.
Perfect. I'm trying to think. There was one. Oh, they're in the bottles. Tell me what your logo means. This cool hourglass logo.
Yeah. So the hourglass is for it's the question of time, and you know, thinking of us planting in particular, because we really start our winery from scratch. So really, we started by buying our boots and our, you know, every little thing, you know, with scissors or whatever, you know. So it really, everything takes a lot of time. And with planting, you need to be specifically patient, which is not in our nature, but there you go, we have to do with it. And then on the logo, there is also a snake.
Yeah.
And that was on one side of the hourglass, yeah, there's a snake. And it's because we are, you know, we love wine and we love eating. You know, we like bon vivant people. Exactly.
Yes. In fact, when we met, the stars aligned, because on the back of your bottles you talk about our wines are made for the bon vivants of all time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
bon vivant. So
we were meant for each other.
that's great. Yeah, I think actually, and it's fascinating. And if we get into the deep story of every single label, I think it would take so long. But But I try to do as best as possible on our tech sheets, our technical data, to tell the story of each label a little bit. And on the back of the bottles, it says, because you guys are really into food and wine and the history and the stories behind. So each of these labels, not only are they beautiful and they're eye-catchy, but they have meaning. They're very important to you, and they have a lot of history and story.
Yeah, the idea is that we wanted, because we don't have history, well, like a history, like, you know, we're not 5th-generation winemakers,
Right.
We just start our own, so we don't really have a story to tell. So because we like eating, we thought there's lots of little stories in cooking, in the history of cooking, and we thought let's show that. And yeah, we have lots of books at home about cooking books, but in general about cuisine and gastronomy, and cooking books and history books, and you know,
And
things like that, all about food. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, and before we start tasting also, where are you right now? Are you at the winery? Because it's harvest time. And again, I appreciate you working with me here. But so is this your winery? Do you rent space, or how's this work?
Yeah, we rent, actually we rent a shed, let's say. And that's where we started, because I mean,
yeah, we have to start somewhere.
So it's not a winery, a proper winery, let's say. It's an old tool shop, actually.
Really? Okay.
That has a super quality. It has a flat floor, which is already super good. That's it.
Number one, you need a flat floor. Okay.
A flat floor for the tanks to be balanced, let's say.
On a high roof, and there you go.
And there you go. So, can we take the? No, it's going to be. We can have a quick look. A quick look around.
A quick tour.
Great.
Let's see. This is maybe.
Oh, cool.
We're just getting some. What is it? Syrah from Usho.
Oh,
So basically, we take the forklift, we bring in the bins the grapes inside. It goes up there,
drops
it goes
down.
into the distiller,
Cool.
and then up in the tanks. And there we go. Above. Tu vas aller dans le...
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And
Oh, cool. That's Syrah right now.
that's Syrah, exactly.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Nice roof as well, now you see.
Great roof. Great roof.
Yeah, that's the one.
I love it. So a lot of stainless steel for fermentation. Cool.
Yeah, fermentation and aging. It depends on the wines, but basically, apart from the Saint Joseph and the Cornas and Massif du Chaux, all the wines are only stainless steel.
Okay.
And then these three, there's a part of it that goes into old oak.
Into
Old
old oak
barrels.
barrels. Okay.
Yeah,
For some
yeah,
aging time. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, let's taste some wine. Let's.
You wanted to see our beautiful.
Oh, is that the beautiful artwork on the walls? I love it.
It's a biodynamic painting.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I've got to say, I'm really excited. And again, everything we have here is current vintage. I'll kind of talk about the Rosé because we sold out very quick with the Rosé.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we have a few like the Saint Joseph and the Cornas coming this fall. But
Actually, Brian,
Yeah.
would it be possible for you to send us some bottles of rosé, because we don't have any more for our cellar? So
Well, I think I have 5 bottles left in my
okay.
basement. So yeah, I'll send you 2 because this is one of them. So I'm very excited because I have not had this stateside yet.
Yeah.
Grenache Blanc. Help me pronounce this word.
Jasus.
Jasus.
Jasus Lalandii.
Lalandii. Jasus.
Yeah, it's Latin in fact. It's Latin. It's the name of the species of crayfish.
Like a crayfish, right?
Crayfish.
That was on that island, and the story's way cool on this one, and a huge history. So this is 100% Grenache Blanc.
What?
Okay. And no time with the skins, pressed immediately.
Yes, actually, so the idea on this one is just we are in the south, but we want to keep freshness in our whites.
Sure.
So we don't want anything too loud and fat and let's say greasy, and the roundness of the Grenache is already there. So there's no point for us to put it into barrels to make it even rounder.
Makes sense.
Actually, we just tried to have some citrus flavors and lemon. It's, let's say, this one is on the flower side, and it's flowery.
Floral. Yeah.
Floral. Floral. It's
No, flower makes
floral
sense.
with a bit of citrus, let's say. And
Yeah, and also there was, from where we're located, it's we get that minerality and that sort of saltiness in the end of palate, which we thought if we put oak in there, we're just going to lose that. It's just going to mellow that minerality and that saltiness, and we didn't want that because we like that.
Yeah, it's
we kept it in.
it's so cool because you have the kind of structure fatness of Grenache Blanc, but so salty, like in the mouth, it's just wonderfully salty and vibrant, and there's good acidity, not crazy acidity, but the saltiness gives that sense of clean,
coming back to it.
Of coming back to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the mouth, it's full of ripe pears and beautiful kind of that Meyer lemon, this different quality of lemon tone. It's really cool. So does this go through malolactic fermentation or no?
part of it.
Part of it. How do you manage that? Is it natural, or is?
As soon as when the malolactic starts, we just stop it with with a cooling system. We just put it on cold, let's say.
Okay, cool.
And then it stops, and then we add a bit of sulfur after.
And that's how you kind of manage the malolactic. Okay, cool. And tell me about filtration. Do you filter and fine your wines?
We filter, but we don't fine.
You don't fine. Okay.
We just filter. So just on the white, let's say we use some clay, some bentonite to make it settle. So that's a natural earth. That's basically earth that we add, and that's the only fining we use, and that's it.
Cool.
And then we filter, as we said, it's because we stopped the malolactic fermentation. We have to filter, otherwise the bacteria will start to eat the malic acid again. So
I see. That makes sense. And in the red wines, no fining.
And the red wines, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. No filter, no fine.
Just a small filtration, but no fining.
Okay. Cool. Wow. So here's the unfortunate news. We brought in we had 14 cases of this, and I don't know how much longer we'll even have them. And you're finished at the winery. So we will wait for the 2020 vintage, but let me know, or maybe it's in your market. And yeah, really, really dynamic, cool Grenache Blanc. Really, really fun stuff. Now something I'm obsessed with, like I said, I pulled this from my cellar because this is in my cellar for sure for the rest of my life. The Jasus Rosé. This is totally sold out, but several of our markets have this wine. So if you're watching this, and hopefully we can get some in your hands. If not, get ready for next year, because this is one of my favorite rosés of all the year. I love it. And so tell me about Jasus. What's inside this?
Rosé made of Caladoc.
Caladoc.
And Caladoc is not
common variety.
A common grape variety at all. Are you still with us, Brian?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Oh.
We're stuck.
Go.
So our rosé is made of Caladoc. Caladoc is a hybrid grape variety. It's a blend. Actually, no, it's not a blend. It's just it's a
hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
A cross, yeah.
Yeah, a cross between Malbec and Grenache. And it has its own personality. It's not just the sum of its parents. It has its own personality and
own quality, for sure. Yeah. Because you told me, oh well, I mean, this is a rosé form, but even in the red form, it tastes like Grenache and Malbec crossed. It really has a very unique sense to it. I like it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And what we like also about this variety is that it has freshness, natural freshness, good acidity, but also like fresh aromas. Like you have fresh raspberry, sort of crushed fresh red fruits.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice for that. And it still has a little bit of structure.
It's so good. And also like kind of with the fruits you just mentioned, also like fresh, ripe, crushed peach, like the skin of a peach, really in here as well. Now, it's so beautiful and light. How long does it sit with the skins before you press?
It's straight away.
Straight away.
Straight away. Yeah.
Wow. So is Caladoc a very dark red grape?
Not really. It's quite pale. Really, it's quite pale. Okay. And even on this, it's coming from the Grenache side of it. Let's say the skin, the flesh is very white. Really.
Very white. Yeah. It's so vibrant and so lovely and just so refreshing. I'm Tara, my wife, is so excited that we're opening all of these wines because we get to drink them tonight. So the Jasus is this? Do you treat this much like the Jasus Lalandii as far as filtration, a little bit of fining, lactic fermentation, a little bit?
Yeah.
Similar style versus.
We make it like a white, in fact.
Exactly. We just do it the same way, and we especially don't want to ferment it on too low temperature, because we try to express the grape variety as a lot more than the fermentation side of it, you know.
Cool. That makes sense.
Sweets and
and
lollies and, you know, this kind of aromas you're gonna get otherwise. That we don't want.
Great. And the story behind Jasus is super charming. In fact, if you go to our website and watch our live Instagram with these two, we talk about this wine and we talk about the next wine, Le Gras c'est la vie, and kind of the concept behind the name. But Jasus means I love you, and it's a charming, beautiful story as well. So, but let's
And
taste
if you look at the Instagram as well, you'll see our vineyard, which is a little bit more glamorous than just that.
And then, well, the shed is beautiful.
There you go.
So now is Les Gras c'est la vie.
Les Gras c'est la vie, yes.
That is life. I love it. So you're drinking this one with me. All right, good. It's that time of your day for sure. I just finished.
Cool. Oh yeah. It's 6 o'clock for us.
So this is a blend now. This is in the south, a blend.
Yes.
What all is involved with this wine?
So we've got some Caladoc again. Okay. So the same block that we use for the rosé, but we harvest the grapes for the rosé 1 week before the grapes we harvest for the red. So we let them ripe a little bit more, and then we harvest them and we blend it with Grenache and Carignan. That is in the same block, really. So we use stainless steel tanks again.
Do you harvest them together and co-ferment together, or
no? We separate the grape varieties during the fermentation, and after we blend them. We love to work on our grape varieties differently, because, you know, Carignan needs a little bit less extraction,
a little less time with
skin. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want it to become too rustic and too harsh, you know?
Because Carignan can do that. It can It can be so
Carignan
but if you go too long, it can get really
exactly.
Massive, yeah.
Cool.
Carignan is a very southern grape variety and a little bit rustic. Can you say that? Rustic? Yeah. So you need to treat it really gently. Otherwise, it has some bad surprise inside. it can be harsh and
a little too aggressive.
And also the other thing why we don't co-ferment is because, you know, it's our 3rd vintage only. So, but this year, like right at the moment.
Right.
So we still have to learn about, you know, get to understand as much as possible our blocks and the different varieties and our terroir, basically. Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
you know, I love this wine because I do start to get a sense of your terroir. Like it really starts to show itself. It has this wonderful, obviously wonderful fruit, but it's earthy, and I feel the soils there. I feel kind of, and I really appreciate hearing about being in the south and it's hot and you looking for different, you know, more of the cooler area, because I can tell this has a very soft touch and a very you know, really paying attention to the grapes, really paying attention to the fruit, so that it can express itself this way, because it's earthy and it's brambly and it has wonderful, you know, structure, but it's delicate. It's really wonderful. And
yeah, that's really what we wanted with this wine as well. Like we wanted a bit of structure, but we wanted it to be at the same time show a fruit that is easy to drink, which is a little bit, you know, an easy word, just but we wanted to just drink it and then eat some charcuterie, you know, saucisson and all these together, but we wanted to have a bit of structure to hold the saucisson and all, you know, the terrine and so on. And so, but at the same time you want to drink it again. I think the freshness has to do with it as well, because it just you know, one calls for the other one.
Put a little fat on the palate, and then this kind of cleans it up and accompanies it well, and then a little bit more fat, and it's lovely wine. And the value in this wine is crazy. It's absurd. I mean, biodynamically farmed, biodynamically made, beautiful blend of Carignan and Caladoc and Grenache. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Stunning. I love it. I'm also really excited because the Assiégés I have not tasted stateside either, because this just landed. Brand new wine for us, the 2019. Oh,
Yep.
I didn't mention that. All of these have been 2019 so far, is the current vintage. And yeah. So Assiégés.
Assiégés, yeah.
Assiégés.
Siege.
Ouais.
Assiégés. Okay. My pronunciation is terrible.
No, I'm still thinking about Nelly's sentence, like hold the terrine. Hold the terrine. I love. Maybe we should call our next wine like this. Hold the terrine. It's just amazing.
So Assiégés, what's in this? What is different now from Le Gras et la Vie to Assiégés?
Okay. So Assiégés is our Cotes-du-Rhone red, and it's a different soil, different area, but we talk about less than 10 kilometers further, but totally different soil. And it's so it's a blend of Syrah, Grenache, Carignan, and Caladoc. And so this is an appellation. The Le Gras et la Vie was Vin du Pays, IGP.
Right. Méditerranée, yeah.
Yeah. So
in Cotes-du-Rhone.
yeah. So less lower yields, a lot lower. Even though Le Gras is we are already low for an IGP, we are even lower in the yield with the Cotes-du-Rhone.
Cool.
A bit of Syrah, because we go back to our first love. That's,
and it's why I fell in love with all your wines is the Syrah. I can taste it in here. It's so good.
We're not quite from the north of the Rhone, but
no.
Yeah.
we live in the
But
north.
we live there. So yeah.
This wine, compared to the Le Gras et la Vie, I think you gain a little bit in complexity, but you gain also the Syrah brings you a bit more, something a bit more full in the palate. It's still with the acidity that we have, so it's not heavy.
Yeah,
it's a bit more, let's say, serious wine. Let's say it's already to eat something like you are on the main course. Let's say already.
yeah.
For the Gras et la Vie, you were still on the aperitif and the terrine.
I think that's really a good way to describe where this wine sits. Its seriousness really steps up, and it's interesting because Cotes-du-Rhone, we've had a million. I mean, there's a million Cotes-du-Rhone, and to taste something that comes together on the palate that has this much structure, but this much freshness, like the acidity is really lovely. But with this dark, kind of more brooding, blackberry, boysenberry quality to it, this is really serious juice for the price as well, but so fresh and so balanced. And that's what I love about all of your wines, really, is even when you bring the depth of, 100% Syrah, it has this counterpoint that really balances out nicely on the palate. And this wine, for me, it has that kind of olive and licorice tone that I find in your Syrah.
Palette is on licorice, on salty licorice,
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm very excited about this wine. Lovely. So, and then you have one more Cotes-du-Rhone, but this steps up once again to the village, the Massif de Chaux.
Yes.
So the Aleph.
Yes.
So yeah, that's our let's say.
It was a surprise for us because originally, I think people know Cotes-du-Rhone. It's easy. People remember it. They know it. And then people think Cotes-du-Rhone village, and there is I don't follow anymore because at some stage there was 14 villages, and now I think it's 18.
Oh,
it
really?
becomes a little bit, I don't know. And then you think, okay, there are a few that and then the rest is completely forgotten. And we thought when we when we went to look for the vineyard, the guy who sold us the vineyard had some Massif du Chaux, Cotes-du-Rhone village Massif du Chaux, and we thought, oh, this is going to be a pain. Nobody's going to know it. It's going to be a pain to sell. But then we went to see, you know, the vineyard, and when we looked at the vineyard, we just thought, whatever, you know, even if people don't know, this is beautiful. The soil is wonderful.
The soil is amazing. It's in the middle of a forest, so you have the woods all around the block, and it's just perfect, you know, because
we just had a great feeling. Sometimes it's about, you know, figures, and sometimes it's just about feeling. And we went there, and not a second, we didn't hesitate. We went, okay, no, it doesn't matter. It'd be a pain to sell, but we go for it. And after the first vintage, we thought, how is it going to be? Is it going to be nice? Is it going to taste like, are we going to have that, you know, the promise, is it going to deliver? And we were very happy with it.
So this is 60% Syrah, 40% Grenache.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
and is the Syrah you just harvested potentially going to be for this, or for the other wines?
Oh, the one that is at the back here? Yeah. That's the Syrah for 2020, yeah.
For which wine?
It's going to be Aleph 2020. That's the one.
Right? Yeah, you had
the one you saw from the tank.
On Instagram earlier, you showed the Syrah grapes, and they were beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think what really captivated me when we first met was this wine. This is Cotes-du-Rhone. It is village. It is Massif du Chaux. So it carries more prestige. Whether us Americans, we don't know all the Cotes-du-Rhone and village very well. But
we don't either.
You don't either. Okay. It's
something it's just to be posh with in the high society, you say.
Ah, I see. Okay, good.
You don't know Massif du Chaux?
What? Well, and so what captured me about this wine is the Syrah in this grape. To have Syrah dominant Cotes-du-Rhone was really exciting to me, because I love Syrah. It is a true love of mine. And it takes that olive and that licorice, but it also brings in more of the smoked meat and the like lilac purple flowers. It's so expressive. It's so vibrant. The boysenberries and blueberries in this are like the juicy ones at the bottom of the bowl that the weight kind of crushed them because they were so ripe, but so delicate too. Like, this wine makes me so happy. 2018 is the current vintage. At the winery, you're on 2019, and so that will be next. But we still have some 2018, and it is drinking in such a perfect place right now. I'm in love with it. So this now sees some oak aging, correct?
Yes, a bit. The Syrah part, we just the Grenache we let it in tank, and the Syrah just to have it open a bit and to have the micro oxygenation that it needs. We put it 30% in oak.
30%.
Just to have, but very old oaks, so not to have the oak flavor,
right.
Just to have the micro oxygenation and open it a bit.
Yeah, to open and gain in brownness as well. Because our job, we think, our job is to work in the vineyard, bring in great fruit that represents where they come from, but great fruit, and then at the winery is just to work on that fruit, show that fruit as best as possible, and work on texture. That's our job at the winery, really.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I think you really express it perfectly. This is the grapes showing themselves. This is the earth really transformed into a glass. Good work.
Yeah, we like it.
And honestly, for those of you watching, this is Cotes-du-Rhone at a higher price point for sure. I get that, and I understand it's not for everybody, but the seriousness of this wine takes it to a very different level than where Cotes-du-Rhone typically is when we think of, Cotes-du-Rhone needs to be cheap and on the shelf at a very low price. This really expresses something different.
But think about what you can say to your friends. I have a Massif du Chaux. What is it? It's just something crazy.
You're so right. You're so right.
The other thing that interests us in Massif du Chaux is that it's not known for now as well. And then we're 20 with 20 winemakers growing in Massif du Chaux. So it's very small. And they just realized, like in 2018, that they're unknown and that they want to start to communicate on it. And for us, it's nice because we are number 20, and we just arrive at the moment where they decided they want to be more known and so communicate a little bit. So it's nice to be part also for us who are new, who are not even from the Rhone Valley originally. It's nice to be part of something of a new dynamic. Cool. And sort of building something in the appellation is really cool.
I love it. Nice. Like it. Yeah, that makes sense. That's great. That's great. Well, and last but not least is the Les Voraces, Collines Rhodaniennes. And Collines Rhodaniennes is kind of that EGP area just outside of the Northern Rhone, where you can still show like 100% expression of Syrah. Oops, I didn't pour it for myself. But you aren't within Saint-Joseph. So this is right around your house. These are young vines, right? In fact, how old are the vines in the Aleph and the Assiégés? And
Aleph are quite old. They are like between around 40 and 50 years old. Cool. And on Assiégés, the Syrah part on Assiégés is 8 years old.
Okay.
The Grenache, actually the Grenache de Carignan are even older. They are 50 also, 50, 60.
Oh, really cool.
Almost 50, 60. And the Caladoc part is 20 years old. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
So for us, it's specifically old.
Yeah.
Those are great. That's fantastic.
And we just started to plant here, so we bought some 60 years old vines, and it's
just to balance out.
Yeah, that's good.
Great. I love it. And the Les Voraces is near your house, so these are very young vines.
Yes.
Yeah. This is so young vines, young Syrah on granite from around our house, and also the young vines of Cornas. It's a cuvée that is going to evolve every year. The base is always going to be around our house, and then we're going to add in, blend in the young Cornas and the young Saint-Joseph. So, and as you know, before they go in the appellation, or before they're ready, before we think the quality is good enough, so it will be in Les Voraces.
So it's always going to be 100% Syrah, 100% on granite, but with young Cornas, young Saint-Joseph, and
older and older
IGP.
That makes sense. And is this does this see oak aging or none?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Okay.
The idea of this one is to keep the fruit vibrant, really. So
and it is this wine is dynamite. It just lights me up. It's 100% Syrah. It brings all of that wonderful meaty feral wildness, but under control and so much balance on the palate. It's really, really delicious. So 2019 vintage is here and available. Do you have more at the winery of the 19 Les Voraces?
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, we should talk. We should talk as we put our next order. It's very, very, very cool. And I love that this is also from the property where you live. This is kind of where your kids are growing up. You know, this is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's really, really.
Yeah,
nice.
And it's for us. It's also, you know, it's like we started with Les Voraces. Like the first plants that we started, our story starts with Les Voraces. Basically, we started planting this block.
Yes.
That's the first. So.
And we started to, the first year we pressed it with the old press, the very old press from the old times, the one you have to clack.
Really? Nice.
It was fun. It was fun, yeah.
So we pressed everything by hand, and we fermented it basically in our old barn, in the hay barn, in the old.
It was much more pretty than this.
Cool. Wow, nice.
a very special meaning for us. It's just our roots really.
I think it's a stunning wine and really expressive of the two of you, which I think is my favorite part. Nelly, Arnaud, thank you so much. I think your wines are remarkable. I'm so honored to represent them here in the States. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking the time. I'm obsessed, and please reach out to me, everyone, because I want to get these bottles in your hands. They're next level. They're really, really next level. So thank you both. Take care.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks for representing us in the US, and we're glad to be, over there in the US with you guys.
Yeah.
We feel super lucky to have met.
I couldn't feel more lucky we have so many wonderful relationships in our portfolio, but I feel very specially tied to you two in such a unique way. So thank you both, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.